The Myanmar Civil War, also known as the Burmese Civil War, is a complex and multifaceted conflict that has plagued the Southeast Asian nation for decades. Its roots can be traced back to the country's colonial history, post-independence political struggles, and the ongoing ethnic and religious tensions that continue to shape the nation's trajectory. Myanmar, then known as Burma, was under British colonial rule from 1824 to 1948. This colonial period left a lasting impact on the country, shaping its socio-political landscape. The British implemented a divide-and-rule strategy, exacerbating existing ethnic and religious tensions by favouring certain groups over others. This sowed the seeds of mistrust and animosity that would later contribute to the ethnic conflicts seen in the Civil War. The struggle for independence gained momentum after World War II. The anti-fascist People's Freedom League, led by Aung San, played a crucial role in negotiating with the British for Burma's independence. In 1947, the Panglong Agreement was signed, bringing together various ethnic groups in a promise of a federal democratic union. However, Aung San's assassination in the same year cast a shadow over the promise of unity. In 1962, General Ne Win staged a military coup, dismantling the democratic government and establishing military rule. Ne Win's regime implemented a Burmese way to socialism, characterized by nationalization, isolationism, and a strong military presence. The military's grip on power intensified ethnic tensions as they suppressed autonomy movements and dissenting voices. The authoritarian rule of the military junta fueled discontent among ethnic minorities who sought greater autonomy and rights. The Karen, Kachin, Shan, and other ethnic groups found themselves at odds with the central government, leading to sporadic conflicts that would later escalate into full-scale civil war. The decades that followed independence witnessed the emergence of various ethnic insurgencies. Ethnic armed groups such as the Karen National Union, the Kachin Independence Army, and the Shan State Army sought to protect their cultural identity, gain autonomy, and resist the military junta's oppressive rule. In 1988, a pro-democracy uprising erupted in response to economic mismanagement and political repression under the military junta. The people, including students and monks, took to the streets demanding democratic reforms. However, the military responded with brutal force, resulting in the deaths of thousands of protesters. The 1988 uprising eventually led to the establishment of the State Law and Order Restoration Council, a military junta that further tightened its grip on power. Despite the formation of the National League for Democracy by Aung San Suu Kyi, the military refused to relinquish control, leading to years of political and social turmoil. Aung San Suu Kyi, the daughter of Aung San, emerged as a symbol of resistance against the military regime. She won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991 while under house arrest, but the military continued its oppressive rule, suppressing dissent and restricting political freedoms. In the early 2000s, the military government initiated a transition towards a civilian government, albeit one that retained significant military influence. The 2010 general elections, criticized for being neither free nor fair, resulted in the establishment of a nominally civilian government led by former military officers. Aung San Suu Kyi was released from house arrest and entered politics, winning a seat in the by-elections of 2012. While Myanmar was taking tentative steps towards political reforms, a new crisis was brewing in the western state of Rakhine. The Rohingya, a Muslim minority group, faced discrimination and persecution. The situation escalated in 2017 when the military launched a brutal crackdown in response to attacks by Rohingya insurgents. The military's actions, characterized by widespread killings, rapes, and the burning of villages, prompted a mass exodus of Rohingya refugees to neighboring Bangladesh. The international community, including the United Nations, labeled it as ethnic cleansing and genocide. The Rohingya crisis brought international attention to Myanmar's human rights abuses, but it also further exacerbated existing ethnic tensions. The military's actions against the Rohingya strained relationships between various ethnic armed groups and the central government. Some groups, like the Kachin Independence Army and the Karen National Union, condemned the military's actions, while others faced accusations of complicity. The military, known as the Tatmadaw, staged a coup on February 1, 2021, detaining Aung San Suu Kyi and other political leaders. The coup sparked widespread protests, with civilians demanding a return to democracy. The fragile peace that existed in some regions began to unravel, leading to an escalation of conflict. New alliances formed among ethnic armed groups, and clashes with the military became more frequent. The once isolated conflicts began to converge into a broader civil war, with multiple parties vying for control and autonomy. The military's brutal crackdown on protesters and the ongoing conflicts with ethnic armed groups have further destabilized the country. International condemnation and sanctions have been imposed on the military junta, but finding a peaceful resolution to the multifaceted crisis remains a significant challenge.